Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I think like a lot of people, I do a lot of fabrication work. I build a lot of things, but I'm not a blacksmith. I don't need a big, really high-end forge, and nor could I afford one right now. So, like many of you, I went online and I researched forges, and I found that the Mr. Volcano forge actually gets pretty good reviews with some very minor issues that I'll go over today with this particular build. I apologize, I know it's a bad video, but it is what it is. Anyway, so this is the newest 2-burner forge from Mr. Volcano. It's all set up, ready to go. It's actually been ran quite a bit, as you can tell. And after I built it, I needed a stand. I looked online and there were a lot of stands available, but they're very basic, not super functional. I mean, realistically, you could get a cart from Harbor Freight and put some bricks on it and it would probably do the same thing. But I needed something a little bit more, with a little more specificity, let's say. So I built this, and I'll go over it with you and some of the issues that Mr. Volcano forges sometimes have, and maybe how you can fix them. So one of the first issues that these little forges seem to have is that they split apart at the bottom. Not all, but some. The little spot welds don't hold up extremely well, and once heated they tend to flex and expand and contract and cracking. So what I did is I TIG welded it on the bottom, not all the way across, just like every 3 inches. The next problem these little forges seem to have is that these burners tend to come loose. That is, the brackets that hold them in seem as though they break sometimes, again, because the spot welds can be a little weak. So I just took some stainless rod, and like I did below, I just ran 4 little stainless beads along the top, and that seems to be holding them really well. As for the gas lines, I have noticed that people have problems with the gas lines melting. So how I went around that, and maybe it's wrong, I don't know, but it seems to be working well for me, is instead of dropping the gas lines off of the back, I routed them up and over the forge, which usually would not be a good idea, except that these gas lines, 2 go into 1, goes onto this large bracket. This bracket has a lot of airspace in it. It's strong, very, very strong, but it's not going to carry or conduct a lot of heat. And it carries it up and away from the forge, all the way around until it comes back down into the propane tank. And this seems to lift and support the gas lines, so you don't have them cracking here or melting or becoming extremely weak. To also help with that, I put on a set of like deflector wings or shields that are attached right here to this bracket. These just go up. There's about an inch gap underneath to allow air to circulate, kind of form a bit of a Venturi effect if the wind blows, and it keeps everything pretty cool. So any of the flames that come up right here will deflect off. And it really helps to keep the heat away from these rubber hoses. Now, eventually I'll buy some stainless hoses, but so far, knock on wood, I've not had any issues with these. The valves are very easy to access, and this bracket here doubles to not only support these heat shields, but to also hold the forge onto the base or the stand. This is fully adjustable, both in and out, to any height or width you need. So if you change the forge later on, you should be able to still utilize these little hold downs. And there's one over here as well. All of the rests on this forge are adjustable. So you can take it out quite a good distance. You can elevate it right here or lower it, depending upon what you're looking at or working on rather. From there, if you're going to be fabricating like gardening implements or anything that requires, you know, like a 4 or 5 foot length, right here, mounted to the forge stand, are 2 extension rods. And these extension rods have small support plates built on with tabs on the end so nothing will fall off. And these slide in here. So you can slide one in both front and back of the forge, and actually 2 people can work this forge at one time if you really need to. So these are very, very beneficial. If you need them, you've got them. Would you need them very often? No. Realistically, I doubt it. But, you know, like everything, when you're in the middle of a project, if you need it, you really need it. Up here, we have hammer stands or hammer holders. So these are the perfect width to drop any hammer in you need to. They're very strong, not going to go anywhere. You could also drop tongs into them. There's one on every corner. If you need additional tong storage, it's got 2 bars on each side to drop tongs into. Again, very strong, not going to go anywhere. When it comes time to light the forge, I see people getting paper and different things, and that's cool. I wanted to make it quick and easy, so this little forge stand has hoops down below that are supported at the bottom hoop to hold a propane torch to quickly light the forge. And there's one on each side, so you can get them from whatever side of the forge you're working on. Here's the other side of the forge. Of course, this is just a V-shaped holder, so if you're going to work with something around stock and you don't want it to roll around, slip it in the forge. This will hold it. Again, this is adjustable both in and out, and you're pretty good to go. Now, this forge also has doors on it, and I went to doors simply because they're much more efficient. They're going to save a lot of energy. It helps to keep the forge warm. It heats parts up much, much faster. It saves on propane or fuel use, and so far they're working great. If you notice in here, I didn't make the door so they're incredibly tight because you need air to circulate in to feed that. So you need oxygen to go in to feed the flames. So this gives it a little bit of breathing space, so to speak. Both sides are equal distance. The top of these are supported by a rod right here that connects them to make them very, very stable. And these slide into mounts right here. So if you need to disassemble this whole forge, it takes probably 3 minutes. You just loosen them up, disconnect the connecting rod or the cross rod up here, and this will lift up so you can work on it or replace the forge. Both sides are that way. Again, real easy in, easy out. Now to control the doors, these are just 2 fire bricks that I bought off of Amazon. And to raise and lower them, it's just real simple. I just built a lever like that. And it's actually 4 position. There's 3 holes, but it rests on the top, so that makes it 4 position, I guess. And if you want to count the closed position, it's 5 position. And how these work is it's really just simple levers, nothing too complicated at all. And that's it right there. It's just a simple lever. It's got a thumb switch that you can also hit with your palm. And once you hit it, you just raise it up to where you want it, let it go, and she locks in tight. There is a swivel bar right here, so that allows the gate to open and close very easy. You can see here how it swivels. And the locking positions are probably the most commonly used positions for someone who is fabricating something. That's your first position. As you can see, you've got just enough room to slip like a knife blade in there. Second position is about maybe almost to the top, but not quite. Third position is slightly above, and fourth position is very high. Probably not ever going to use that, but these are the positions that I seem to use the most, and that's the way that I fabricated it. And down here, you can see where the locking rod is, and this area in here is all ground, so that if you need to raise it in a hurry, you don't even need to use the thumb switch. You just lift up and you're in position. If you need to go up to the next level, then you hit the thumb switch and she slides right up and back to close. As far as the fuel goes, of course, we're running propane. Now this is a 30-pound propane tank. I could have installed a 40-pound. A 40-pound propane tank is 30 inches high. This is 32 inches from top to bottom, but we have a support rod right here that kind of gets in the way a tiny bit, but I didn't want to go to a 40-pounder because I wanted a little bit of air gap between the bottom of the forge bricks and the top of the propane bottle. So this allows a nice breeze to come through, keep everything cool. I can read the gauge real easy. Again, super functional, very simple, just sturdy and strong. You know, hopefully it'll last my lifetime. And then we added a pressure gauge to it. The lines go out the back. I had thought about enclosing it with aluminum plate, and then I stopped because I saw a great video where Dale Derry built this amazing forge stand, and that guy is like beyond talented. He's really amazing. And he enclosed it, and it was gorgeous. For me, I didn't want to enclose it because just in case there's a propane leak or some issue, I didn't want the gases to build up in a cabinet. So I just felt a little bit safer having this open. So if there's an issue, I can see it or smell it, or it won't build up any high volume of propane and maybe cause a small explosion. Probably paranoid, but yeah, I'm just trying to think ahead here. So that's really about it. Again, it's pretty simple. I know it's rough, no question about it. But so far, knock on wood, you know, it's holding pretty good. There's a steel ring at the bottom down there to support the canister. This is a fairly heavy steel band that's MIG welded on the back, and it's real sturdy. It's very, very rigid. So that tank's not going to move or go anywhere. And that is about it. And overall, saying no complaints. It's working well. I'm really happy with it. I read where a lot of people are upset with the Mr. Volcano forges because they tend to crack, but in all honesty, you're not going to get a forge that doesn't crack. And if you want to see a forge build that is like far above this one as far as like ingenuity goes, Jerry Kirkpatrick at Valley Forge made something rather similar to this, but he is such a great artist. His doors on his forge are actually weight balanced, so all you need to do is like pull a weighted can and they come up and down perfectly. Yeah, that guy's a brilliant builder, really smart guy. He used to work with Carroll Shelby. He's a race car builder as well. So this is just my version, again, for the Mr. Volcano 2-burner forge. If you're building a stand, I hope this maybe gave you some ideas. Right or wrong, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not a blacksmith, but you know, when you need it, right? Anyways, guys, so have a really great day. Take care. Bye-bye.